All right, so this is a suggestion via Discord. The name of the video is, do black conservatives overlook racism? No, I don't think so. Do they? Do we? I don't know. Am I considered one? I don't know, guys. Listen, I'm all over the place, right? I am absolutely fiscally conservative, but socially, I'm kind of all over the place, bro. I've been around the world enough to know that, other people exist and how to deal with other people. You get what I mean? But the thing is that, guys, I don't think so. We're about to find out. Let's see where this takes us. I don't know, bro. Let's jump into it. This is going to be all over the place, bro. Everything in me tells me that.
Welcome and thank you for joining us for The Factor Uncensored tonight. First up, our focus turned to black conservatives who support President Trump. This is an issue that's ripped from the pages of Nation.com, an article there. Some have accused President Trump of racism on multiple occasions. Last year, he said black voters are drawn to him because of his criminal indictments and mugshot, a statement some have called racist, while black conservative supporters not speaking out, according to critics, is an issue. Is there any truth to black conservatives being at peace with this so-called racism?
Okay, that statement is crazy. It's going to be completely honest here, because that doesn't, I'm not specifically drawn to him by any means, right? Not him specifically. I just really, really detest the ideology coming out of the left currently. But other than that, whatever, bro. If you're gonna go ahead and fix the economy and fix immigration, I'll back you. Sure, no problem, bro. It's not about him. It's about the movement that surrounds him. To be honest, that's kind of how that works here. But that statement was crazy, absolutely. But if we look at the statistics, then that's a problem.
Or is this the answer more complex? Joining us to talk about it here on The Factor Uncensored tonight, members of the Urban Conservatives of America, Rael Williams, Alexandra Butler, the group's founder, Jonathan McCullough, and former president of NAACP, Brazoria County, Eugene Howard, who's not a member of the group, and you'll soon see. But let's begin with you guys. For those who say there's a lot of racism that you have to stomach as a black conservative supporting President Trump, what would you say to that?
Personally, I would say that I've ignored a lot of racism from the left. When Joe Biden said that black people, or excuse me, he said poor people are just as bright and talented as white people, that's a racist comment. There's types of racism that seem to go ignored and unnoticed by the left and the right, but it's the racism of low expectations that I can't ignore. And so that's why I brought that up first, is because the racism that they want us to overlook is the racism coming from the left.
All right, let's go down the line, sir, Mr. McCullough.
Yes.
Okay.
Racism to me is not what someone says, it's what they do. And I think this is what makes us different from the left, because
That's
we're
valid.
not watching, what people is saying. We're watching what they're doing. Because at the end of the day, a leader, a president, a politician, whatever you are, is based on policy. So if you can show me policy that affects or that you can call racism, then I'll agree. But up to this point, I have yet to see anything that he's put into law that affects black people negatively.
Eyes wide shut.
All right. Mr. Williams, Ultra MAGA. What you got?
Ultra MAGA. Trump has been great for black people. If you look at the statistics, black unemployment was at the highest rates when he was in office. You go down and you look at, he just declassified the MLK files. Something Barack Obama didn't do when he was in office.
Of course not.
So I mean, you people are saying he's racist, but he's doing things that presidents that were of color didn't even do.
That's right.
I mean, hold on, wait, let me finish.
It's only been one, don't say it.
So again, Trump is the man. I support him hands down because
Bro, to his right is incredibly too emotional, bro.
what he's done for black people is literally like you can't compare it to anything.
Right.
And before we get to Eugene, let me ask you this question, the crux of that interview, that article. Do you see racism in the conservative movement that you're a part of? Obviously, you've already said you see it everywhere, but do you see it in the organization?
No,
Either of you.
Well, here's the thing. How are we defining racism? Once again, I mean, if we're going to define racism and get...
Okay, really, you know what racism is. So
What?
just tell me if you have seen it, if you experienced.
I know what racism is, but I can't speak for everybody else.
Well, let me say something.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Alexandra.
so when somebody on the left sees me, a black woman, and just assumes I'm poor or ignorant, or they're like, "Oh my goodness, you speak so well. You're just," they're so shocked about that. Why are they shocked about it? That is racism.
Bro, that happens in my comments all the time. So I'm not even gonna lie about that one right there. That's a thing. Like the amount of times that I've heard someone say to me, it was like specifically in the comments, why do you speak like that? Right? Like just like random comments. I'm just like, bro, why do I speak like what? Like, okay.
I overlook that a lot because I'm saying they don't know any better. That happens to
Yeah,
me a lot.
that's
with
what
people
happens.
On the left.
I
They
do
think
that
They're
often.
my ally. I need their hand. I need them to come in and save me, and I don't. I need God. I don't need them. They're not my Messiah or my Savior. So Malcolm X said it best. You know, the liberal is the enemy of the black man, and we can see it right clearly before our eyes. They look at us like we're scum. They look at us like we're poor. And black people are falling for the okey doke, and they're saying, oh, the white man is better than us. He's supreme over us. That's what white supremacy is.
Right.
I don't believe anybody is superior over me. I don't live my life that way. So I just live according to freedom and liberty.
All right, let's hear from Eugene.
Please, man, I've been in this twilight zone. Like, I've been patiently over here at the tail dog position. So first of all, if you can't see the racism, your eyes are just closed. You said it's not about what people say about policy, so let's just run it down real quick. They removed the Harriet Tubman from the National Archives. So, I mean, Harriet was what? I'm sorry, the Trump administration. I'm going to be very clear.
But they didn't.
I'm sorry, they did, and
You're
because
wrong.
of that. No.
Okay,
I let them speak.
Hold on, real quick, guys. Let him go, and then
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
We have two segments.
Thank you. They removed it, and then they had to put it back after backlash. The same thing they did with the Tuskegee Airmen. They removed that and had to put that back. Trump is literally trying to dismantle black America. They literally had an executive order to the Smithsonian that did not want to fund African American Cultural Museum because they feel like that's anti-racism or that's reverse racism. Now, as we sit here, we have to be intellectually honest because you guys are being intellectually dishonest. If you can't sit here and tell us, everyone's watching on TV. Don't take my word for it.
I'm watching it.
On TV, you see it yourself. Listen, I'm reading for myself. All I've heard about the left this, the left this. What about this? Last time I checked, the Trump administration is the one cutting the Medicaid, cutting Social Security, cutting Medicare. They're the ones that's cutting education. Last time I checked, Joe Biden, you talked about unemployment was the lowest under Donald Trump. My guy. Joe Biden had the lowest unemployment. Like, you guys want to forget about that.
You voted for Joe Biden.
I mean, you can cherry pick that. You can cherry pick whatever you want. Just like Trump said, if you're a felon, you like
Eugene, let's hear from...
Okay, I just wanted to kind of understand what he was saying here. He's as expected, as I said earlier. He's a victim, right? He's a permanent victim. Like, listen, if you want to understand, like, if we can kind of get to some type of solidarity within the United States of America, where you're no longer considered like a hyphenated American and just an American, then I don't see why there should be like special interest groups specifically that are being put above other other groups. It should be one specific thing: American. When I travel outside of the United States of America, guess what? I'm not called an African American. I'm just an American, bro. All right. We need to understand that the rest of the world doesn't see it the way we see it. All right. Our history is interesting. It's absolutely flawed. Right. But the only way I can see we can kind of move past these things is if we kind of remove the hyphens and get rid of specifically these gigantic DEI pushed or affirmative action pushed type of things here, guys, right? And yes, before anyone comes at me in the comments, white women are the ones who benefit more. I get it. Yes, I know that, sirs and madams. I get that. Right. But either way.
Mr. McCullough.
Well, basically, he's proving the point. He started talking about the
policies.
No, he didn't.
Policies.
Let me talk.
Policies.
You started his whole conversation was
Policies.
about statues and Harry and this, that, and the third in Washington D.C.
Policies.
What does that have to do with the price of gas? Nothing.
What
Nothing.
does that have to do- what does the price of glass have to do with being black?
What I'm saying.
What does the price of gas
Oh
have
my
to do
God,
with being
bro.
black?
Listen,
Hold on.
listen,
You're getting
listen,
loud.
listen.
And the
Being
viewer-
black
Hey,
is
Mr.
not my
McCullough,
choice.
The viewer can't understand your
I'm sorry,
tone. You're
I'm
too
sorry,
loud.
I'm sorry.
We're going to take a
Ain't
quick
nothing
break
to
here.
gas,
and we'll be right
black
back.
ain't nothing to be
All
do
right, sir.
with gas.
One second, Eugene. Don't go anywhere. We'll continue this conversation after the break. If I don't, I'm probably going to get my ass kicked. Welcome back.
Bro, like all this conversation sounds like, I mean, like, think about this here. The person from the NAACP is basically just saying all of the things that have literally nothing to do with your everyday life. These are all virtue signals. That's it. That is it. I'm waiting for something valid to be said here, but it's just all emotions. Like, hey, listen, I'm going to touch your emotions so you can exclusively side with me on something. I have not heard a single bit of logic. Just woe is me victimism.
Back to the Factor Uncensored. We're continuing our conversation about the outlook of or being at peace with so-called racism antics in the conservative movement. Our guests are here, and they all say that just doesn't happen. And we will pick back up with Mr. McCullough. Your thoughts now after hearing Eugene.
Well, as I said, one thing that I don't do, once again, I could care less about what people says or what someone else's interpretation about what they said. I'm a free thinker. I process it, I listen to it, and I watch. If Donald Trump is the problem, why do our communities look the way they look? Explain that to me. How? How is
Can I
that
respond
possible?
to that?
How is it possible?
Please, blame someone else.
Answer that question.
Blame someone
System.
else.
Is it
Here we
Donald
go.
Trump's system?
It's called systemic issues.
Here
brother.
we go.
It's more than one.
Oh, so it's not
Here we
Trump,
go.
it's systemic.
Bro,
Here we
just
go.
don't try to change the subject because
What do
you
you
don't
mean?
want to be
No,
down
I'm trying
with
to
Trump.
remain on the subject.
I'm willing
Can I
to say there's
respond to-
systemic issues, there's systemic problems in this country. There has been since 1619 since we got here, bro. So if you want to talk about that, we can talk about why our housing look like they do. Or if you want to talk
Who's
about
our?
I got a question.
Jim Crow,
I got a question.
segregation, we can
I got
go
a
down
question.
the list,
I
bro.
got a question.
So,
Okay,
like,
one at a
we
time.
have to
Who's
be
our?
intellectually honest.
Okay,
dog.
let's be intellectually honest. Let me tell you something. The black community is the most dangerous place in the world for a black man. So if we want to be intellectually honest, am I right or wrong?
You're wrong.
And Mr. McCullough, for
not
those who
reality.
are wondering what you talk, explain that.
Well, it's dangerous. Let's
How?
just be real.
You said how.
The
You said
violent
how.
culture in the black community
Are you joking?
will not be addressed by black people because we're too busy worried about white supremacy. Right? The safest place is the white community. Keep it 100.
Yeah.
Keep it 100. Then-
He keeps saying we got to be intellectually
But he can't.
honest, but you have to first be an intellectual to be honest. So we're seeing right now.
Hold on, so you
no,
gonna take a
excuse
jab?
me. We're
Hold on,
seeing.
no,
Yeah,
no,
I
no,
did.
no,
Hold on,
So we're
Eugene.
seeing.
Let
We're seeing.
Alexander
We're seeing
finish.
weaponized incompetence in action through when Trump gets rid of redundant civil rights bills, DEI
Right.
bills. We're seeing weaponized incompetence. Oh, he got rid of this. He must hate black people. So let's end all this for black people. Somebody at the top of another part of an organization is the one doing that. Trump didn't say, "I'm writing an executive order to get rid of Harriet Tubman." He never said any of these things.
No.
So you're being intellectually
I'm
dishonest.
not. It's called an administration.
No,
So
that's
hold
a
on,
lie.
let me
Okay,
go back.
let's
Cause
hear
she-
from
cause she
Eugene
said,
really
I'm
quick, and
I'm
then
not
you,
an
Mr. Williams, next.
As the only sensible black person sitting up here, like, let's decide who has the intellect and who doesn't. As we speak,
Okay.
we sit here and speak policy. Now, secondly, you talk about actions. Going back to Harriet Tubman, you know, Harriet Tubman did have a little tool that she used to carry. All I would say is, like, I'm so glad we all free because all of us wouldn't have made it if we was walking with Harriet right now. Because
All of us.
yes, all of
do you
us
know
would not
that?
have make it. Because Harriet was very strict. Because we all know all skin folk ain't kinfolk. All skin folk ain't down for the struggle. There's no way.
That's some
in- on
emotional
God,
jargon.
no,
What did I tell you from the beginning? I'm glad that someone else on the stage is currently pointing out the level of ridiculousness of this man here. He is incredibly emotional on a subject that actually needs some type of logic. Personally, I think that the show could have picked a different person, right, to be able to deliver a point slightly better, or unless this is the overall common typical response, guys. It feels like they specifically chose an absolute imbecile to step on the stage and represent the Democrat Party. It looks like it, right? Like, guys, have you ever seen like these podcasts where they like bring like these absolute like idiot women on? Like the whatever podcasts and like Fresh and Fit, these type of things, right? Where they bring like the obvious terrible women, right? The obvious ones, like you could look and be like, yeah, that's a terrible woman, right? It looks like this show decided to do that to the Democrats. Like you picked legitimately the most idiotic person to put on a microphone that I've ever heard of in my entire life. He is not saying a single thing. He's not saying anything. He's just emotional. It's just emotional responses, emotional. I could tell by how all the three of them on the right here have been speaking pretty much coherently about the things that actually, really truthfully matter deeply in the United States of America. And this guy here is like, emotions. They got rid of a statue. And bro, we have bigger fish to fry right now. I'm telling you, we have much bigger issues. Our economy, immigration, education. We have so many problems, and you're worried about the irrelevant things that are not going to make us better by any means. Bro, come on, sit
You
down.
can say whatever it is.
That's emotional.
There's no place.
That's emotionalism.
Hold on, let me finish my point.
He's saying nothing.
If you want to say if you want to say the most dangerous place for a black man is the black community, there's no place safe.
Let me tell you something. Facts prove that.
Black
You know what?
man,
The most dangerous place is the womb
One
of
at a
a
time,
black
guys.
woman.
Let's hear
worse.
from Mr.
Most dangerous place is a womb of a black woman? Jesus Christ. Whoa.
Black communities have the highest crime rates, Isaiah.
Keep it real.
I mean, let's just be honest.
He doesn't want to acknowledge
They
that.
also have the highest poverty. Is poverty not a part of that?
Hold on, let me
We're not
finish.
talking about
But if you're talking about
my
Donald
God,
Trump
here
and
we
what
go.
he's done for black people,
What has he
you
done?
got to remember.
Please
when
tell me what he's
Jesse
done.
Jackson, right?
What has Donald
what
Trump
did he do
done?
for him?
Tell me what Donald Trump
did
done.
he do for
Eugene,
Jesse
let him
Jackson?
finish. Let him finish,
What did he do?
Eugene.
He helped Jesse Jackson form Black Wall Street.
Dog, we talking.
Okay,
what
no,
did-
hold on, wait,
He did.
hold on. He gave how much to the black community?
I don't know, you tell me.
Close to $80 billion.
80 billion.
$80 billion.
And what? And what?
To the HBCUs.
What you talking
You gotta do your
about?
research.
You just can't throw numbers out. And he
But
got
you throwing rhetoric out.
Was it education? Was it housing?
One
Was
at
it
a time, guys.
reform?
One at a time.
Yes.
One at a time.
Don't say yes.
All of
Like,
this.
give me something. I gave you the policy.
Go research,
You
bro.
already
Oh,
said
man,
it.
come on. Y'all the intellectual members. You should have the answer.
Hold on. On top of that.
Intellectual geniuses.
Okay.
No, it's not about that, man. It's not
Bro,
about
I
that.
can't stand him.
On
I
top
can't
of that,
stand him.
Again, he declassified MLK files, something Barack Obama did
Man, he
not do.
declassified his
Okay.
sex tapes. You interested
Hold
in
on,
that?
hold on,
I'm so glad you so
You probably got
excited
sex
about
tapes.
that.
You probably got sex tapes of
Congratulations.
your own boy.
Congratulations.
So now we
Come on,
know-
Eugene. We
so
gotta
now
hear
we
each
know
other.
Who killed MLK? Okay. Donald Trump has always been for the black man.
He's the greatest president.
Wait,
America has ever seen.
hold on
Stand
that.
down and wait
All right,
for it.
Mr. McCullough, you have the last 30 seconds.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Let me tell you something. Here's what we have to stop doing. We have to stop assuming that all black people have to think alike.
Valid.
We have to
think
stop.
like y'all,
Hold
so we
on. That is racism in and
I
of
don't think
itself
like
within
y'all?
the black community.
Oh my God. Why?
Listen,
Because I don't think like y'all. I'm a
Can I
racist.
finish?
Did
Boy,
more
you
for
lost.
the black
Gotcha.
community than
Can
Barack
I-
Obama.
can I-
A black man.
can I finish?
A black man.
There's a reason.
Answer that. Answer that.
There's a reason President Trump is the first president in modern history
Thank
to
you.
crack the black vote and get majority of the black support.
Come on.
And also crash
That's
the
that's not
economy
a
with
joke.
main
This is
man.
real. You know why?
Thank you guys for joining us here on the.
I don't know about majority of the black support because the majority of the black support is going to basically center around the Democrats. The reality of the situation, the Democrat Party are the ones who basically offer the most handouts, and there's a problem with poverty within the black community, the ghetto mentality type of crazy toxicness within the ghetto community, the ghettos and the black community, right? Specifically, like there's a problem here. The reality is that look at the music that's promoted. Look at how some of the women choose to dress. There are problems. In fact, there's a lot of debauchery. All right. And there are a lot of things that come with that, right? That just seem not to change. I get it. The argument that the guy on from the NAACP is probably going to make, most likely, is that poverty basically brings crime, but there are a lot of poor countries where crime is not specifically running excessively rampant, let's say. So I hear what you're saying, bro, but there's legitimately an issue. Regardless of how everyone got to this issue, we need to definitely figure out how we can fix it right now. Right? I mean, being stuck specifically in the past rather than being able to move on it just looks like weakness to me, bro. Right? And every single thing. So, for example, these 4 people that were on the stage here, I'm pretty sure I was raised differently than all 4 of them. Right? I grew up in Long Island, New York, specifically further out towards Montauk, guys. So like, just understand my upbringing was completely different, I would say. So when I hear some of these people speak here about the things that happen, crazily in the United States of America, that just has not really been my experience at all, right? I went to a private school. I went to public school for a couple of years, right? And then we moved back to a private school, guys. I went to college. I went to graduate school. I've held a master's, right? I didn't grow up like some of the people, that look like me, let's say. So my experience is massively different, and I look at the world different because of my experiences, obviously, right? So being black, for the most, it's not a monolith. Even though the Democrat Party, and specifically people that share that ideology, at least think it should be. They think that we all should have the same type of lived experiences. I'm a victim, so let me blame everyone else for problems that that they didn't really specifically create. I think a lot of my overall mentality, though, came from living outside of the United States of America for over a decade, right? Like you start to realize that, and when you look back over to the United States of America, you're like, you're still complaining about that? Like, bro, you gotta move on. You have to move on. You gotta get better, right? But I don't think like anyone specifically should overlook any type of racism, though, bro. Just to kind of go back to the initial point of the argument here, I don't think you should, right? And I don't think that most people do, but you do realize that an ist, let's say, should not be the end all be all to your existence. There's more to life than that, right? There is. Oh, this person doesn't like me. Who cares about that person in the first place? Why do you care about them? They literally showed you who they are, and you still are allowing them to live rent free in your head. That's what you're doing. Why? Like, there's so much more. There's so much more to life than sitting there being a victim, bro. But all right, listen. You guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'll catch you guys later.